Thanks for staying with us. So, this week is the week of love. On Friday, we'll be celebrating Valentine's, and usually is a time where the world stops to remember this issue of love and show love to their loved ones and express love in different ways. But one of the things I'd like us to talk about today is, does love really do exist? Does it still exist in the midst of all the drama that's been happening on social media in the past 1 week? We've had issues with Two-Face Idibia. We've had issues with the pastor Paul Nwo Kocha, who's saying that he divorced or he left his wife, or he's leaving his wife because she did some abominable things. Two-Face, who we thought was in love with this beautiful woman who we all loved, and suddenly we're finding out that there's a possibility he's in a relationship with somebody else, and that they've been separate for a while. And we're thinking, does love still exist in this our world? I mean, should we reconsider this thing that we used to read in Mills and Boone? Should we redefine it today in today's terms? Because in many homes, there's a lot of pretense. People pretend to stay together to be truly in love. But the reality is that many homes, many relationships, many relationships are based on some kind of a transaction. You are there because you do something for me. I'm there because I get something from you. So putting all these various stories in perspective, and especially because we're supposed to be celebrating love this week, does true love really do exist in your own view? Ramatu, would you like to start?
Okay, so I think, true love does exist. What is now becoming shaky is unconditional love. Because these days, it seems like everybody's loving each other for a reason. And once there's a problem, once one thing or the other starts happening, everybody starts, of course, the love starts having conditions. There is a reason why I'm loving this person and all whatnot. So I think most of us, we go into marriage with a lot of expectations. And once our expectations are not met, that's where we'll now start having, issues and all. Right now, like this guy now, that we just mentioned, that said they're saying that he will send the woman out.
Pastor.
All I can see from all he's saying is, first of all, I have a problem with everybody trying to come to social media just to justify reason why their marriage is not working. Come out there and come and say, I'm no longer with this person and all. When you were getting married, you were not there. When the times were so good, you were rosy, enjoying yourself, we're not there. But once it's bad, we'll come to social media and start expressing yourself and telling us why. All I can see from what he's saying, I just see insecurity in the whole thing. If your wife has done something really wrong, I don't think coming out to social media to come and start saying this is what she has done is the solution to the whole thing, or will make anybody out there to see you in a different light.
When I was using the word "the love exists," what I meant was that when I was trying to connect it to this Pastor Paul saying that his wife did something abominable. Now, when you talk about love, can anything be abominable? Because you think that love forgives, love endures, love is there. Love, there's something that even if your spouse commits adultery or something, there's somewhere where you can, we can rebuild this. So I'm thinking, what is abominable? So let me come to you. This is your love. Does these things really exist? Let me come to you, Mariam.
I believe that true love exists, and I believe that it still exists. One thing, of course, with social media, with media in general, or with trending news, is that when something is not working, that's when we hear about it. When it's working, people are not really interested. It's boring news. But I do believe that it exists. And what is true love, really? Because a lot of people think it's just when you meet someone and everything is going perfect. True love is even when you're going through challenges, when the person has done something that you would consider the most hateful, you're willing to walk through it with them until you finally come back, to where we are. But yes, you're right. Based on many of the stories that we hear, it seems like that is lost. We've forgotten it. And I think that has a lot to do with also the foundation. There's just this spirit and this materialistic way and transactional way that we're viewing the world and relationships these days. And of course, when you are transactional or materialistic, when that fails, the only way to deal with something that was a transaction, if it does not work, is to throw it away. Because a transaction is supposed to pay you. I give you this, you give me that. If it does not work, you throw it out. So that's why we're hearing more and more of that. So usually when I hear things like that, I want to find out what the foundation was like. Now, is there anything that can be abominable? I feel like some things can be. Pedophilia is abominable. If I'm married to you, no matter how much I love you, God forbid, I find that you are abusing my children, nothing in this world, I can never forgive that. I can, forgive you and let God and the Lord deal with you, but you can't do anything. So, but some of the things that we hear, abominable, like infidelity, it is terrible, but I think it's forgivable. I think someone had posted that Jesus himself, when a woman was caught during adultery, he said, "He who is without sin cast the first stone." So he recognizes that we're all flawed, we all commit sin, we all break each other's hearts, we all do things to each other that, that at some point may feel unforgivable, but we can forgive. At least infidelity, I feel like for many men, that's what they carry on their head, like,
everything
but
else.
Yes, yes, but we can, I believe that if the other party is willing and is truly sorry and is taking accountability for their actions, that can be resolved. But because the foundation in itself, it wasn't based on true love, it wasn't based on them loving each other and wanting the best for each other. It's like, this thing is spoiled, please throw it away, I don't want to have anything to do with it. That's why we're hearing all these stories.
Let me come to you. I mean, let's start with the original question. Do you still think this love thing exists?
Yes, so I think it still exists. I mean, I love my partner and
I love my husband.
So, I mean, I don't think... maybe there are some... Like this pastor, for instance, well, what he says is what I read that he's supposed to have seen his wife do. I guess he feels he can't forgive that. I would find it difficult to forgive someone for that kind of thing. So it's not that it doesn't exist, but yeah, there are sins that you can say, look, I can't call it sin because it's against our Creator that we sin. I can't sin against a fellow human being, but you can offend me. And it's that offense that maybe I can't forgive. So it's not that it doesn't exist. But I mean, I don't want to put their relationship in full view of it. But when I see my nephew and his wife, the way they do
okay, so YK, let me now bring that conversation to where you are, because there are lots of people who are considering what you have, YK. They're saying that they'd rather have a partner who they can truly love than have a marriage. Because this marriage kind of ties people down. Because now, like a two-phase, I mean, the whole drama that happened, many people are saying, is this thing we call marriage that makes you feel like this is it? And it kind of cages people. But if we have a situation whereby we are committed to each other, we are two responsible adults, say, you know what, we don't need any document or any imam or pastor to tie us. We are two adults. I'd rather that than knowing that I'm tied to somebody, that many homes or many people are considering partnerships than proper marriage. What do you think about that?
Okay, for me, well, YK has like the full, she can tell us how it's different. Because I see her and I don't see what she's doing that is different from what married people are doing.
Well, she has her weekends to herself. She wants to. She doesn't want to see somebody's face. Yeah. I don't want to see you this weekend and she's fine.
Yeah, but there are some marriages that work that way. Yeah. There's some marriages that the husbands and wives don't even see each other for years until when somebody travels to see another person. There's another marriage that works, only at weekends they get to see each other. The only difference is that the paper was not signed. So sometimes I think when it works in partnerships, when it works for me, it just looks like marriage.
But it's psychological also. When you know that, listen, if I need to move, I gotta move.
So that's what I was going to say. So for me, maybe the difference is with marriage, that signing says, for me, it's like, I pre-forgive you for whatever that may come. Whatever it is that may happen in the future, I have decided that we will deal with it within marriage. I think with partnership, it opens the options that if you do something, at least there's nothing tying me to you, I can walk away. So it's like the marriage seems more like a commitment, recognizing that the differences that we have, or some of the challenges that we have, we are going to sort it out because this is forever. But the partnership recognizes that I can just walk away whenever I feel like. And honestly, even when as I'm talking about it, I still don't see what the difference is, because now we have we have the option of divorce. If it's so terrible, if it cannot work out.
In Christendom, you don't allow us to be divorced.
Well, no,
but even in Christendom, they say if you are unfaithful, you can divorce. So it's, you know, so we can, you know, you can. But I just feel that these differences don't matter if it works. And you have to want to make partnerships or marriages. If you're not committed to each other, neither of it will work, and none will fail.
That's the key word you said, commitment. Because no matter what happens between Theo and I, we cannot just walk away from each other, because we have been together like 17, 18 years. I can't even remember how many years, but we've been together quite for a number of years, so we cannot just walk away from each other. There has to be something really major. So even though we haven't signed any paper, it's not something that I can just say, you have annoyed me, I'm going. Or you will say, I've annoyed. No, you know. So it's commitment. So that's the key word. So even in marriages, people walk away from marriages. I walked away from my first marriage. You know, because I wasn't happy, and I was and I left. And people, and there was everybody came to talk to me, and I was looking at everybody like this. Nothing. So people walk away. Nobody is tied down. It is whether you are committed spiritually and in your mind.
Okay, so I think partnerships works mostly when you are older, kind of, and sometimes when you
wiser.
When you leave your marriage, you are now more experienced, and you know how to handle issues and conflicts when they come up. Like, okay, if for example, if I put myself like in something like that and I leave the partnership, whatever, is going to be much better. I'm going to be, because from my experiences,
you function better.
Yes, the experiences I have had
at this point.
Because in marriage, the thing is, all of us, we come together. Everybody wants to come and try to change the other person. Meanwhile, we're supposed to come as individuals. This is Ramatu. She came. She likes this. This is what she likes. And then this is this person. This is what he likes. You know,
that's the point.
Anytime he wants to do his own thing, let's respect that one and let him do it. And then whenever I want to do my own thing, let's respect that fact and do it. So with partnership, it's easy for you to do that. But in marriage, no. We're supposed to do it together. We have to wear me, I want to wear my dress. No, this is the wrapper that you are going to wear.
That is exactly why many people, and you're right, especially for second marriages, many people say, I've done the first one, I've left. Now the next one is not going to be a marriage, it's going to be a partnership. Because I am not going to this paper, let us try ourselves. No, I need that kind of independence because I'm a whole person. I've rebirthed myself. I'm stronger, I'm more knowledgeable, and I want somebody who is equally at my own level to be with me. And I don't want to go into his own terms. Both of us are coming on our own terms. So I'm seeing YK is a serious model. I will see, and a lot of people, YK, at least I've known two people who have come to me and said, if I'm going to marry again, I'm going to do YK style.
Yes.
So YK, you probably started a movement a lot of people don't know. You started
the YK law.
The YK law, because you have a lot of people who are already considering, because you are happy, you're glowing, YK. How many 64-year-old women are growing like this? It's hard to find it, because many of them have been forced to stay in that Mr. and Mrs. Lagbaja, and they are there because they're there for mom, they're there for their children, they're there for security, they're there for different reasons. They're not whole. They've subsumed themselves into this family role or this wifey role. They're not YK. YK is her person. So we are now seeing you are like, maybe it's worth considering.
You know, listening to both of you now, I started saying I don't see what the difference is. And I think I see it now based on what you said. So the difference is that in marriage, you're expected to be one. We're to become one. And we have romanticized it, and it's supposed to be, we'll think alike, we'll do everything alike, right? And I remember as a young girl, I was sitting down with some of my friends, and then they were saying their honeymoon phase, and they used to always dress together, and I remember saying, this is the thing that scares me about marriage. I can't stand to dress the same. And they looked at me as if I was weird, like, what's wrong with you? And I used to also say that if I were, when I do get married, I would like to have like different rooms. So these are the things. And, you know, thinking about it, my husband is in his second marriage with me, right? And I think he also came into this marriage with a very strong sense of individual self.
Yes.
I am who I am, and then allows me to be who I am.
Yeah.
So I can now see the difference, really, if I will now compare it to two young, in love, you know, fresh out of school or something, who have decided that they have to be in each other's skin and each other's being, and
everything.
And so when something does not work for the other, it will be such an inconvenience at its best, or you know, just gets really bad. So that is the difference. So maybe that oneness that we're talking about is not possible, it's not sustainable, and it should really be about two individuals knowing that they are strong differently, but then they meet at some different points for each other.
Exactly.
Now when we're going to break now, we'll come back, we'll now focus a bit on the Idibia story, and even this, because these are two people. This young 15-year-old girl fell in love with this guy. All the drama happened, they got married, and then she felt like, okay, I'm now with you. But imagine if she was her person, have found her person, and then was have a partnership with Two-Face. Maybe what they're going through right now would not be going through it. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So before the break, we're discussing this issue of love, and we kind of delved into referencing Two-Face because of the fact that we're saying that many Nigerians, especially those who are looking for a second relationship or after their first divorce, are hoping to have partnerships. Nobody is really interested as much into having another marriage. Many eventually do, maybe after they've been together for like 18, 15 years, they can decide to tie the knot, but usually they prefer that individuality in their relationship. And we're now trying to take a step back, referencing the Two-Face Idibia story, because remember that Annie was a young girl who fell in love with this man, and then lots of things happened. You know, he became a star, he now had other women in his life, and she had to be confronted with adult issues as a young woman. You know, she practically didn't have a proper teenage life, and didn't have a proper young adult, you know, dating, going out, movies and stuff. She was just locked on this guy. And many of us have always encouraged, because I know people that are saying that they want their children to get married at 2021, and I've always stood by the fact that you have no business getting married anytime before 26. Because I always feel like a young person needs to explore, do stuff, you know, mature, live your life, find out who you are before you get married. But what are your thoughts on how, if getting into it early is the right thing to do?
Okay, so let me touch a bit on that Two-Face this time, because I heard a lot of people saying that you know, she saw the red flag, that he was married before she, you know, got married to him and all of those things. Most times, a lot of people get married with the intention that we know that this thing is the person is not so maybe behaves differently. But we go into marriage with the intention that this person may change along the line, because there are so many people who marriages have changed. They are very bad. At some point when they got married, they changed to be better. So it depends on where the marriage is meeting you up at. If it is meeting you at the point where, because I'll give you a typical example. There was this guy that I know. He was into drugs, like in the north there, you know, all this codeine, all these things.
Tramadol,
So he used to take it. And, you know, the first thing they thought of is that let him get married. And immediately he got married. Then he got married to this beautiful girl. He stopped. He stopped in marriage. So there are people, we don't even talk about all these things. It's always when we get married, you know, you already know this red flag and all of it. Yes, you can know some of the red flags, but there's this anticipation and this hope that once you get married to this person is going to change this habit, or is going to be. And most times, a lot of people change.
Most times? I don't think so.
Sometimes.
Therapists tell you that
it's just because most of the stories are not out, but a lot of people change.
No. From most of the stories I've heard,
I don't know.
No, it only gets worse.
Some of the but you can't also know.
They can disguise it for a period just to get into the marriage, but eventually it will come out in some way or the other.
You need to buy my mother's book.
Yeah,
you know that nobody changes.
But you know, you were saying about, you know, the right age to get married, and I remember as a teenager, my mom used to just have so many books. One of the books I read, I just wish I could remember the name, and the lady was talking about her life. She had been married before, married a college sweetheart, and then years down the line, the marriage broke down, and then when she turned 30, or was it 32, she remarried. And she said, based on her story, so she was saying the story that she would put the age for marriage. And for the type of marriage that we're having now at 30, there used to be a time where getting married, yes, for women. She said there used to be a time when getting married was you meet a man to start a family. And you were content, and it was enough, or it was described as enough, that you were with this man who provided everything for you. You gave birth to your 2.5 or 3 children, you know, and that was it. But we are now in a situation where marriage is much more than that. He's not just the only provider, you also provide. There's so many things that you're all, you know, contributing to this marriage. So it requires someone of a certain maturity and capability. I mean, if you look at what we read in the papers, Jam also acknowledging that age has a lot to do with intellect and development and maturity. If that is important for examinations, imagine how important it is, even more important it is for marriage. So I think the later, the better. And also there's this thing that's going around now. A lot of people say that women have always been described as like having a time limit for anything. Like women, oh, you're only good until maybe 30s or 40s. After that, you're old cargo. Nobody wants you. You're not really relevant in the scheme of things. But there are studies showing that women who give birth in their 40s live longer, and they're more ready and developed and more prepared and equipped to raise children. I'm not pushing that. I'm just saying to you that there's no end to her. And thank God to science and technology and things like that, women are finding you know, newer ways of sort of protecting their eggs and able to have children. So the important thing now is, because in marriage is what women are looking for is love, partnership, you know, companionship. They're not just looking for a provider and who will pay for all my bills and everything, and I'm giving him children. They're looking for a partner, and when you're looking for a partner, there's so many things that need to work. And sometimes until you reach that later years of your 20s, your late 20s or 30s, before you even know exactly who you are, what you want. And
let me take Akin from Akute. Thanks for calling.
My area.
Good morning, Akin. Are you there? Hello, Akin. I think I lost that call.
Yeah, I wanted to ask him if you had lights.
Hello, are you there? Akin?
Yes, I'm there.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah. This discussion of Valentine, I believe love is supposed to be celebrated every day. Now, is it that Valentine in question? It's not biblical at all.
Okay, we can't hear you anymore. Yes, we know Valentine is not biblical. Yeah, for those of us who are Christians, yes. I'm just saying this is a general day that people celebrate around the world, or to highlight love and talk about love. But let me come to you, YK, because there's this thing that holds people when they say marriage is for life. And because you know marriage is for life, no matter what happens in that marriage, you want to hold on. Many people are sad, but because they've been raised, men and women alike, that this is for life. So because of that, that mindset is now almost like a cage for many homes, where even if you might not be abused, you might not have a verbally abusive wife or verbally abusive husband or whatever, but it's just something that you're just not happy. But because it's supposed to be for life, you can't get out. And that's where the idea of partnerships were. I mean, early days, YK said that during the week sometimes, she doesn't feel like seeing Uncle Theo's face. She doesn't go and see him. She takes her out. She can travel, you know, because she has her independence. She has her things in her house. She takes a few clothes to his place, come back, you know. That independence sort of, it gives you that, it makes you you.
Yeah.
So my question is, in 2025, are we allowed to reevaluate the meaning of this thing called marriage? Must it be as it's been told to us, where both of us must stay in the same house? Because I know, I'm almost done, YK, because I know the family. Husband is in this house, wife is in this house. They live on 2 streets adjacent to each other. The kids they can go do breakfast in mommy's house. They can go to mom, daddy's house.
They're married, not
separated. They are together. They are separated. No, they're married. Okay. They're married. But the two of them are always fighting.
So
True
they can't
story.
live together.
They can't live together. They told they're always fighting. So daddy has his house, mommy has her own house.
like that.
And they alternate. So mommy can say, okay, like take stew to your daddy's house. He doesn't have stew. Go and give him stew. But you know, but they have that relationship. So she's whole, he's whole, and they're not fighting. So I'm just saying that these are various things we are seeing in 2025. We're thinking, okay, should we begin to re-examine? Because many people have stayed in these homes for years and they're not living long.
Well, I think that you first, if I was going to advise a young couple, the first thing I would tell both of them: keep your identity, know who you are, and stay true to who you are. Do not try and evolve into the other person.
Yeah,
you are not an alien. It is aliens that swallow people and then bring them out. Once you are human, keep your identity. I would advise them that way their marriages would last. I think I'm not against marriage. I would never advise my young daughter or young niece or whoever not to get married. I would say find the person that will allow you to be you.
But you don't know who you are until you are maybe in the 40s. Okay, that you in the 20s, you have no clue because you're also discovering yourself. You don't even know yet. So you now get to somebody and then you realize that the you become is not compatible
anymore
with the person that you married.
And do you know what I even find interesting? Young couples, they say it like when they are dating their boyfriends, he's fine, he's okay. This I'm talking of couples in their 20s.
Yeah.
They say, but the moment you marry them, they talk about Nigerian young men especially. All of a sudden, they now have this, I am the man of the house. So the girl is always like,
shocked, like
what happened?
What happened?
We were friends, we used to hang out together. All of a sudden, I'm the man of the house, because in his mind, what he has been told is, now that you are the man of the house, you put your feet down, you do this. Even if it's not part of him, he just feels that as a husband, I have to wear the role of this. And then
advice.
It's advice.
Don't take advice from. That's another major mistake. Is young couples taking advice from people who maybe in their mind their own marriage is going to have failed.
Yeah, you say don't talk. The girls will say don't talk to me like that, and she's like, who are you? Are we not mates? Why am I all of a sudden? Why am I not allowed to talk to you like that?
Yes, they do. Look, I just don't want to go personal. Because it happened to me. And I didn't have to wait till I was 40 to know who I was. I knew who I was. You know, and I was an independent woman. And when you come and say you want to lord it over me, it is a partnership. We are partners. It's not that I will not give you your respect as a man, but I'm not your slave. So a lot of men want to want slaves, not partners. Very important.
Okay, this thing you're saying is a very powerful thing. Because I would like to unpack it. Because a lot of men don't realize it. But the truth is that they just want somebody to have their kids, feed the kids, make sure the house is clean, sort out all the things that need to sort it out, and I'm the man. When I need to do the other room, I'll do the other room, but just be there. I don't need you to do anything else for me. Just be there. While I then go and live my life. A lot of men are like that. But they have not confronted, they have not faced the reality or to accept it. They rather just continue to pretend like, okay, I'm a family man, you know, I like to, but you're really not. There's a lot you want to do outside, which you don't, society's not allowing you to do it. Society allows you to do it, but this is who you are. And you've done that and you fulfilled that, but the woman is not fulfilled where she is.
Yes.
Because I mean, I've had the opportunity to speak lots of married women who sends me messages on their DMs. In fact, some of them once they want to get close to me, they feel like they and I'm not an advisor. Nima is the advisor. Maybe she say I'll just let Nima's nick. But she's the one that can listen to you. But for me, I mean, I can understand your story. But many women are frustrated and they feel that they've not found themselves, and it's because they entered this thing very early in life. They entered it with who they are not. They've not even met themselves. Now they're in their 40s and they feel like, and they're going for all these conferences where women have been empowered, they're educating themselves. They're like this brother, bro, this is not it.
And it's true.
Bro is still living in the dark ages.
Like, for example,
I have my sword. I'm the warrior.
Yeah.
I know there's a particular age a man gets.
Why are you standing?
He becomes very, very, he becomes adventurous. He wants to know what's happening and all of that. And then you are there, still come. Like especially the Northerners, most of us, we marry very early. And a lot of us discover ourselves in the marriage most times. We begin to know ourselves and all. And meanwhile, the guy is already out there. Maybe he's working, he's doing a lot of things.
We are told that your marriages last longer than ours.
I disagree.
How?
I disagree.
We can divorce at any slightest slightest provocation. Seki uku 3 times. 1, 2, 3, go.
You're done.
You're done.
You're blessed.
So
like you're
it
blessed.
depends on where they are divorcing you.
God
Because
was
if they
on your
divorce you
side
have
in that
5 kids,
regard.
let me give you one gist. I have a friend, right? When we're in school, we're just in 200 level. When this guy loved her and everything, and said she should come and get married. She left school. I remember we're begging her. We said, please stay, because she got pregnant, and she was always doing all those pregnancy stuff and all. She left school at 200 level.
Okay.
I went and got married to this guy. She got married to the guy. She has 5 kids. The guy married a second wife, and he married a lawyer. And now, anytime they have functions and all of that, he goes with the second wife.
Yes.
And you know what he says? Anytime she tells him that, why are you not going with me? She says, no, I can't go with you because you're a dropout. Do you see? So at the end of the day, she has lost herself in that aspect. So if he had divorced her...
So in that case, who do you blame?
In that case,
you blame?
The thing is... Yeah, so who do you blame? She has not discovered.
We have to wrap up on
herself.
this, but because we have another topic we need to do. But I think really, the conversation really is about examining love in this love season.
Yeah.
Let's be true to ourselves. Does love exist? Many of us have said yes, it does.
Yeah, it does.
But how do we interpret it, therefore, to the issues we're having today in society? Some big marriages are breaking up. Some people are having issues, difficulties sustaining their marriages, and there are other people like YK giving us options, saying, okay, maybe this might be better. Because I remember there was a woman who was literally crying when I think it was my mom's funeral or something, where you came, and she was just staring at YK. This is an aunt. She was just staring that this woman is my age.
And
see how she's doing. YK was full. I think it was my mom's 70th birthday, where you're drinking your champagne and just
being happy. Although YK is another human being altogether. It may not even be the partnership.
This person was studying YK all through and came to me and was literally crying that she had the kind of life. She had the freedom, but because she was made to marry. I think she was the 3rd wife of somebody, and the person she was the newest wife then. And then the guy now married 2 extra wives and totally forgot about her, and had nothing. She had nothing. She's by herself. She's not independent. She's dependent on him. So the man has 5 wives and she has nothing, and she just feels depressed. Now she's stuck with her kids. So she just felt that I have lost myself. Yeah. And a lot of women are in that situation where they feel they've lost themselves. So YK, you are a star to a lot of women. You didn't lose yourself. Yes, you're in a relationship and you're happy, and people are saying that, oh my, I can still have a life at 64.
Yeah. But also, to be clear, yes, there's some women who are happy like that within marriage.
Yes.
And so that's where the love comes in, where the man understands, for me, it would be the man understands that the woman also has her person and he will support her dreams. Do you understand? Not the one that says, there's no way you're moving. So you find those relationships where they support each other, that the woman is also thriving within marriage, and it seems...
Thanks for balancing it, because it's not all about that. There are other people who are actually in proper marriages and actually found themselves, and they are happy in their 60s and they're looking good.
I wanted to add something. I wanted to say that happiness, right? Your happiness is your sole responsibility. Don't put your happiness on your partner. It's a lot of burden. Make yourself happy by yourself. It comes from you.
Okay, that's all we can take on this segment. We'll come up with our next topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.